it looks as though, and I want to know whether you agree, Nissan needs Honda more.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for this. Once Nissan sort of parted ways with Renault, they are sort of in a no man's land. They really don't have a leadership position in any market globally. So when we looked at this idea, Honda's not a big company that likes to do partnerships or sign locked in stories. They like memos of understanding, like they did a short time frame with some electric vehicles at GM. So we are looking at the fact that this is going to be definitely more favorable for Nissan, but we are seeing that there are going to be some pros on both sides of the coin here.
Yeah, and what would that be for from Honda's perspective then?
Yeah, so we look at it this way, and the Keiretsu mentality of a Japanese manufacturer is to protect the home, right, and really supply in the supply base. And with the downgrade of vehicle production now, last couple of years, and softening over the next couple of years because of high inventory, manufacturers put way too much investment and billions of dollars into electrification. It's not taking off. They're spread very thin. What you're doing is, while production comes down, it hurts your supply base. Now, the supply base can't give larger volume deals to the vehicle manufacturers, so their prices have to go up. And when their prices go up, now we're a vicious cycle of the prices go back on the consumer. And the idea here, when Nissan was with Renault, it was okay. But when you have two Japanese firms now potentially working together for the greater good of a Japanese economy, also to maintain a Japanese footprint while also staving off the China risk. One of the things we see with Honda is that Honda doesn't produce vehicles in Europe anymore since 2021, but Nissan has about 400,000 units of production capacity there per year. Nissan's got great body-on-frame vehicles with the Frontier and Navaro. And then they're really, Honda is an engine company, just so happens to make cars. So this idea of this going together, I'm wondering if it's going to be a real hardcore merger, because in the conversation is then Mitsubishi potentially follows right back into the fold. I think it's going to start with they're going to date, and then we're going to see if a marriage comes out of this play.
Yeah, and I guess on that front, I wanted to ask you about what kind of a closer tie-up we could see. We saw the Reuters source reporting that they could operate under a holding company as separate independent subsidiaries. The other option, perhaps, is a looser tie-up in terms of some sort of, a capital buy-in. What do you think makes sense? And I'm also thinking because, Nissan is in a lot more trouble than Honda, particularly on the debt front. It's facing reportedly massive amount of debt in about 12 months' time. That's not something that Honda would want to have to then be responsible for, right?
You're absolutely correct. I think it's going to be more of a sort of a memo understanding, less capital intensive, more joint alliances, working with software together, working towards a common AI structure, commonizing potentially on, non-core parts, handles, mirrors, whatever it might be, to try to build up a better buying power with their supply base, which they're trying to do right this second. So I think that's where we're going to start. Like I said, Honda did this with GM. The Honda Prologue and Acura ZDX are basically GM-built vehicles because they want to test the waters of a EV relationship, and they've since moved away from that. So I think you're going to see a similar testing of the waters here between Nissan and Honda, but I agree with you. I don't think Honda is going to put all chips in on this one. I think they're going to see how they can leverage a joint relationship. I mean, a lot of it's the China play. A lot of this idea that, China's going to be forcing out the foreign manufacturers, and a lot of put a lot of stake in China as for their revenue stream. So they're really trying to do that. They're trying to protect themselves from low-cost Chinese-built battery electric vehicles. So there's a lot of headwinds going on, not to mention, obviously, all the new Trump policies and potential tariffs all over the world. So I think they're just trying to get themselves spread a little more diverse across the world, share in technologies, AI, autonomy, shared in some products and technologies, but they're still going to probably stay within their own lane for that risk of either one of them dragging each other down.